Alexander the Great, history's ultimate overachiever. Born in 356 BC in Macedonia, a tiny kingdom in northern Greece, Alexander was destined for greatness. Or, as some might say, he was that kid in class who always had to be the best at everything. But hey, when your dad is King Philip II and your mom, Olympias, believes you're descended from the gods, the bar is set pretty high. So little Alexander had quite the childhood. Forget your regular school teachers. He got the philosopher Aristotle as his personal tutor. Yes, the Aristotle. While most kids were learning their ABCs, Alexander was being schooled in philosophy, science, and, well, conquering the world. Aristotle probably taught him how to calculate a hypotenuse with one hand, while wielding a sword with the other. Fast forward to 336 BC. Alexander's dad, King Philip II, gets assassinated at a wedding. Because who doesn't love a good murder mystery at a wedding? And 20-year-old Alexander becomes king. Most 20-year-olds are figuring out how to adult, but Alexander, he's figuring out how to conquer all of Greece. And surprise, surprise, he does just that. After a little bit of stabbing and bribing, of course. But why stop at Greece? Alexander had bigger fish to fry, like the Persian Empire. In 334 BC, he sets out with his army to take on King Darius III. And boy, did he have some serious overconfidence. The Battle of Issus in 333 BC was a classic David versus Goliath situation. Except this time, David, aka Alexander, had a massive army and a really sharp sword. Alexander wins, obviously, and Darius runs for the hills, probably wondering where it all went wrong. Next up, we have the Siege of Tyre in 332 BC. Picture this: a city on an island, surrounded by walls, thinking it's untouchable. Alexander takes one look and says, "Challenge accepted." He builds a causeway, marches his troops across, and boom, Tyre falls. Then he heads to Egypt, where the locals crown him pharaoh, because why not? Alexander probably thought, cool, another crown for the collection. In 331 BC, Alexander decides it's time to finish off Persia. Enter the Battle of Gaugamela, his biggest and most important victory. Darius shows up with an army so huge it could have had its own zip code. But Alexander, he just charges straight at them like he's late for a dentist appointment. The Persians scatter, Darius flees again, and Alexander takes over the Persian Empire. All in a day's work. Now you'd think Alexander would be satisfied with conquering the known world. Nope. He decides to march into India. By 326 BC, he's facing King Porus at the Battle of the Hydaspes. Imagine, elephants versus horses in the pouring rain. Talk about cinematic. Alexander wins, obviously, because at this point, he's practically unstoppable. But even he can't beat Mother Nature. His troops, exhausted and probably sick of curry, force him to turn back. So, Alexander heads back to Babylon, where he starts planning his next big conquest. Because who needs rest, right? But then, in 323 BC, just when he's gearing up for more world domination, Alexander falls ill. After 10 days of fever, he dies at the age of 32. Yep, that's it. No dramatic final battle, no heroic last stand, just a fever. The man who conquered the world got taken down by the ancient equivalent of the flu. And there you have it, Alexander the Great, the man, the myth, the overachiever. In just 12 years, he built one of the largest empires the world had ever seen and left a legacy that still shapes our world today. Sure, he might have been a bit of a megalomaniac with a god complex, but hey, you can't argue with results. So next time you're feeling ambitious, just remember, if Alexander could conquer the world before 33, maybe you can finally finish that project you've been putting off. If you enjoyed this dive into history's greatest conqueror, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what historical figure we should cover next. And remember, history isn't just a bunch of dates and dead guys. It's the ultimate story of human drama, and sometimes it's downright hilarious.